I'm the awesome tutor, and today we're going to be looking at the central nervous system responding to change and reflex actions. So, the CNS, the central nervous system. Now, what is the point of your central nervous system? Responding to changes in the environment. And changes in the environment, we call these stimuli. And you need to know this. And we have things called receptors. Receptors are cells which detect stimuli. They detect changes in the environment. So, for example, a light receptor cell, where is that found? That's found in your eye. What about receptors that are sensitive to sound? That's going to be in your ear. Receptors that are sensitive to changes in position, so basically balance, they're also found in your ear. Receptors sensitive to chemicals, those will be found in your nose and on your tongue. So smell and taste. Now, the skin has many receptors which are sensitive to touch, sensitive to pressure, sensitive to temperature, and sensitive to pain. Let me give you an example of a stimuli. I am moving this pen, and I dropped it. How do I know I dropped it? Because the touch receptors in my hand now know that I'm not holding anything. Okay, and the light receptors in my eyes also tell me that the pen is no longer in my hand. Where is it? I dropped it. Next. Okay, so you need to learn this process. The stimulus is obviously detected by your receptor. And then an electrical impulse, you have to use the word impulse in your exam, not message. Otherwise you'll not get a mark. So an electrical impulse is sent along the sensory neuron to the coordinator. Now the coordinator is your central nervous system, which could be either your brain or your spinal cord. Then, the electrical impulse is sent along a motor neuron to the effector organ. Now, many students get neuron and nerve confused, and so I've put in definitions here. A neuron are special cells where electrical impulses, they pass along them. A nerve is a bundle of hundreds or thousands of these neurons. Okay, so do not get them confused. So, what is a sensory neuron? A sensory neuron is a neuron which sends electrical impulses to the coordinator. A motor neuron is a neuron which sends electrical impulses from the coordinator, the central nervous system, to the effector organ. So, we talked about receptors, but we did not talk about effectors. What's an effector? An effector organ, that is what allows you to respond. The effector organs are responsible for your response. Okay, you've got two types of effectors. You have muscles and you have glands. A muscle, the response it does is it contracts. Okay? Light receptors in my eye see the pen. Okay? Now, the pen is a stimulus. Okay? Light receptors pick this up in my eye. It goes along the sensory neuron to my coordinator, the brain, I'm thinking about it. And then a motor neuron to the effector organ, which is in my arm. And I'm moving and I'm moving and I'm moving. Now the effector is my hand, contract. And I pick it up, contracting again. Okay? Glands, these effectors secrete chemicals. Okay? If I'm feeling sad, then I will cry. Okay? Glands, such as the glands in your eyes, which release tears. Yeah. So do not get confused between sensory neuron and motor neuron. Sensory neuron, imagine related to the word sense. You're sensing something, receptors and sensory neuron. Motor neuron, relate that to movement. Motor neuron and effector. Okay, next. Okay, so reflexes. First of all, what's the difference between a reflex and a normal response? Look at this pen. Normal response, okay. Light receptors and touch receptors, and then goes to the sensory neuron, to the coordinator, to the motor neuron, to the effector organ. I'm going to drop this pen. Okay, what about a reflex? Someone slaps my hand. Ow, what the hell? Okay, I dropped the pen automatically. Reflexes are automatic, they are fast, and they usually protect us from danger. Danger such as if you go and touch a fire, right, or something that's hot, a hot surface, you will immediately remove your hand to prevent further damage, further burning. So it protects you from danger. We've got examples, the blink reflex, in case someone throws something at you, you blink, so it doesn't damage your eyes. The knee jerk reflex, I don't know how to do this, but it's somewhere under the... Okay, so the knee jerk reflex, I don't know how to do this, but it's somewhere under the patella where you hit that sensitive area and then the knee just jerks up. A withdrawal reflex, I give you the example of the fire or hot surface, withdrawing your hand. Next. Okay, so here we have a Bunsen burner. I am going to touch this Bunsen burner. What's going to happen? I am going to remove my hand away immediately once I get that pain. This is called a reflex, and this particular one is called a withdrawal reflex. A withdrawal reflex. So the stimulus is the heat. The receptors are in my skin, in my hand right now. We have the pain and the temperature receptors. They pick up this high temperature and obviously the pain because it's going to destroy my cells. And so it goes to the sensory neuron, then to the central nervous system, along the relay neuron, to the motor neuron, to the effector, which is the muscle, to contract my hand away, and obviously the response is I remove my hand. So remember this: stimulus to receptor to sensory neuron to relay neuron to motor neuron to effector to response. Now I know it's a lot to remember, but you have to, because in your exam they might ask you about it. If they give you a 6 marker on it, you're dead if you don't know this. So memorize it. Okay, here we have a diagram. Zoom in. Okay, so from the diagram you saw that it is basically like an arc, and that's why they call it the reflex arc, because it goes from your receptor, the sensory neuron, to the central nervous system, but along a relay neuron to go back to the motor neuron as quick as possible to the effector, to your response. Okay, and this reflex arc allows it to be as quick as possible. Now the coordinator, the central nervous system, is usually going to be the spinal cord. Almost always it's going to be the spinal cord. Otherwise it could be your the unconscious parts of your brain. And yeah. Now another thing you need to know is in between the neurons you have gaps. And these gaps are junctions. We call these junctions synapses. And you need to know the process of how an impulse goes from a neuron to a neuron. So I'm going to write it down here. Now, first of all, an electrical impulse travels along a sensory neuron, a motor neuron, or relay neuron. Okay? So neuron, that's where electrical impulses pass along. But the synapse, okay, say you have your sensory neuron here, relay neuron here. So relay neuron goes there, sensory neuron goes there. Here is a gap. This gap is a junction, this is the synapse. What happens? Number 1, chemicals are released. And these chemicals that are released from one neuron they diffuse to the other neuron. They diffuse across the gap. So your second marking point is the chemicals diffuse across the gap. Your third marking point, I'm going to write it up here because there's no space, is that the chemicals attach themselves to the other neuron. They attach the next neuron, and after they have attached to the next neuron, what they do is they trigger a new electrical impulse. So number 4, they set up a new electrical impulse. So do not get this confused. In between the gap, the messages, the information is sent as chemicals. But after that, it is an electrical impulse is set in a neuron, and so the messages now travel as electrical impulses. So, let me just say that again. Messages travel as electric impulses across neurons, but travel as chemicals across a junction or a synapse. Those are your 4 marking points. And that's the reflex for you. That is the topic for you completely. So remember, synapses, they are junctions between neurons. This has been the Awesome Tutor. Bye.